at the point in the cycle where everyone thinks MSTR is about to collapse. They've seen this many times, and the reality is everyone's pretty retarded. So when it comes to MSTR, remember, what is their business function when it comes to the Bitcoin economy? Their business function is to provide a leveraged solution to speculating on Bitcoin. That is their fundamental value. MSTR is allowing people to speculate on Bitcoin in a leveraged way. That's what they do. That's what they said they do, and that's why, having a stack, so to say, that has a premium or a discount attached to it is extremely important for MSTR. The very thing that justifies the premium is their ability to allow speculators, market makers, derivatives traders to speculate on the price of Bitcoin. So what do I mean by that? Basically, and I've said this on videos now for 2 years, when I changed my mind on MSTR and realized I'd seen it wrong, I actually did a video highlighting this. And I said that the value proposition of MSTR, or one of them, is that if I believe that Bitcoin is bearish and I want to take a bearish position on Bitcoin, it would be better for me to take a bearish position on MSTR, like, for example, buying a put. I can buy a put on MSTR because it will go down more than Bitcoin will go down. And that would give me the ability to hedge my Bitcoin position in a leveraged fashion, right? The other alternative for that would be to take a leveraged put option on IBIT, for example. But there may not be a deep enough liquidity market in order for me to do that. And none of what I'm telling you, by the way, is new. If you go back and watch my videos on MSTR, I've explained all of this. None of this is new, and yet everyone's shitting themselves as they always do, because they believe that there's some kind of liquidation moment for Sailor coming, etc., etc. There isn't, right? None of the Bitcoin, none of the debt has a price point where they have to sell their Bitcoin, right? So what's going on here is, to me, absolute orchestrated FUD on MSTR. And it kind of looks very strategic from the sense of, if I was, shorting MSTR and I placed some put options, which, by the way, it does look like the fact that the market's short position has gone into MSTR because the derivatives markets are deep enough to actually absorb the amount of pressure that wanted to go into it. And so therefore, the price of MSTR has been depressed way more than the price of Bitcoin, as it should, because it is a speculative platform on top of Bitcoin. So the function is working really well here. The one thing that was quite concerning, it's quite hilarious that everyone, people are looking at this weirdly, but I want to kind of give it to you like how a market maker would think about it. It was quite concerning when MSTR's implied volatility was dropping down, in the 55s, in the 56s, because Bitcoin's implied volatility, and you look at IBIT's implied volatility, it was sitting at like 42. So the spread isn't much, right? MSTR was becoming less and less volatile. And now within a 2-week window, it's jumped back up into the 90s, right? And that's because we've had solid down pressure, down force on MSTR. And what's crazy is, because the volatility has gone up, it now allows derivatives markets to actually price these things in a way that become attractive over Bitcoin, and it gives MSTR its speculative function back. And so really, a lot of people are talking about, JP Morgan is attacking MSTR and coming out with all kinds of conspiracy theories about JP Morgan, as they always do. And one of the things that I learned this a long time ago in the gold days, but really when the average retail Bitcoiner is very, very emotional and hyped up about something, it's generally not what's going on, right? And that's true with all markets. Like when the average gold bug is pissed off that JP Morgan is manipulating the gold prices, it's generally not what's going on, right? And that was proven through all the lawsuits that happened with JP Morgan, and they basically found that really what they were doing was spoofing the market with orders, which is bad, but it's not what the average gold bug was talking about. And this is now what's happening with Bitcoin and with Bitcoiners. And basically Bitcoiners are saying, JP Morgan's the most evil institution. These guys are market makers. Their job is to trade both sides, right? And there's a famous quote from JP Morgan, which is, basically, if my clients want to trade shit, I'll make them a market for shit. This is what they do. They trade volatility, they trade speculation, and they allow people to speculate. They allow their clients to speculate. And that's what I believe is going on. And I actually think that MSTR's volatility going from 56 to 95 is actually a really good thing. The unfortunate thing is, or really the function right now, is that we're seeing this to the downside. What we're about to see is you're about to see this go to the upside if I'm right? If I'm right and the bear market has not sort of begun and this is a standard correction, then you're about to see that MSTR is now about to accelerate to the upside. And when the implied volatility is higher, you're about to see MSTR react to the upside a lot faster because the derivatives markets will drive the call option buying on MSTR, which will drive the price up. This was also probably one of the reasons why MSTR had to stop selling the converts, because the implied volatility was collapsing, and derivatives traders want high vol assets because they can sell call options on them, right? And it's one of the reasons why you are seeing that MSTY, it looks like, we'll see next week because it's the final week, but it looks like MSTY's monthly dividend is about to go up, right? The actual percentage dividend is about to go up. Now, the stock price is cratered because MSTR is cratered, but when you look at it and you go, okay, so last month, I think it was about 6.5%. I think this month, depending on what happens next week, we may be seeing close to 8% again on MSTY, right? That's a function of this, the fact that the implied volatility has gone up. And that's what you want MSTR to do. You want MSTR to have a high implied volatility. And of course, we've got the other thing that I wanted to mention. I've got some notes here. Is the index fund FUD, right? So, everyone's saying, oh, MSTR is going to go through this review process. These index funds are going to decide whether Bitcoin treasury companies, and they may be forced out of indexes and this, that, and the other, right? This sounds like traditional FUD at the end of a shorting cycle so that you can get retail and dumbasses to short or sell their stock, and then you can cover your short position in the liquidity that comes as a result of the FUD, right? That's what it sounds like to me. Of course, there is going to be this review because you're sitting on an index, right? You're thinking like, okay, so we have one player in the game, and that's MSTR. Do we really want, the S&P 500 filled up with 250 Bitcoin treasury companies? I don't know whether that's good or not, right? Like, I don't know what the point of the index would be at that point. So this is all a rational conversation that's being had. But of course, emotional doom and gloom Bitcoiners are taking this and running with it because it creates contents, creates clicks and likes and everything else. So it's fine. But just remember, MSTR was actually losing its function with its crashing implied volatility. It was losing its place as a speculative platform on the economy of Bitcoin. And now that the IV has actually shot up in a very, very sharp way and created that distance gap between Bitcoin's IV and MSTR's IV, MSTR is actually more usable from a derivatives markets point of view. And you're gonna see a lot of people lose their shit over this and boycott JP Morgan and all this other bullshit that retail always likes to do. And the reality is, from a market maker's perspective, that MSTR just become more tradable, and there's a reason why MSTR almost had the derivatives markets of Nvidia, for example, when it was running up. And this higher implied volatility is what allows the derivatives market flywheel to actually take place. And so I actually think this is a good thing that the IV is jumping up. And we've seen it to the downside, and you're going to start seeing it, I believe, to the upside, which will allow MSTR to acquire more Bitcoin. And you can see that because even in such a down day, we had a 3.74% down day on Friday, but STRC was up 2.7%. So all of their preferred products are going up, and I believe that MSTR is going to start having a widening amount of options as its IV jumps up, which is what we saw last time MSTR went on a run. So that's what I think is going on. In the next video, I want to talk about, why I don't think this is the bear market, which is what Bitcoin is talking about. So subscribe to the channel for that, because ultimately there's always only 3 rules to Bitcoin. Step number 1, you buy Bitcoin. Step number 2, shut the fuck up. And step number 3, you get fabulously wealthy.